No, a little dark today, but I think we're just gonna roll with it. Good morning. All right, my friend, if you are joining today for the first time, welcome. Every morning at supposedly 8:30 Eastern, sometimes 8:32, 8:33, we go live on all the places, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. And we are currently doing a Think and Grow Rich book study. And I wanted to do this with you because for those of us who are in sales, and that is pretty much everyone, right? But whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a salesperson, we often think it's just another script that we need to achieve our results. And yes, can that get you incremental success? Sure. But so often, what I found in my own life and in the lives of my clients who I get to serve is that there's these underlying belief systems that are actually the things that are holding you back from achieving your goals. So I just want to welcome, oh, Kalua, good morning. Sherry, good morning. Oh, I love seeing you ladies every morning. So good to see you. What are we grateful for today? I would love to know in the comments. And again, if you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, pop me a comment. That's how I know you're here. But I want to know, what are you grateful for this morning? Because that's actually a key piece of creating the wealth and the success that you want is living in that state of gratitude, right? Gratitude for what is, gratitude for what's coming, etc. So it was fun because yesterday, Weight Warrior Woman, good morning. I know you've been here a few times. What's your name? If you don't mind me asking, I'd love to be able to welcome you personally. Yesterday, we were talking about the right to be rich. And it is, Sherry, you got 2 new clients yesterday. Well, that didn't take long at all. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is something to be hugely grateful for. Wow, congratulations. Congratulations. That is phenomenal. And you were literally just on our call yesterday saying that you were going to go do it. Okay, I'm going to get back to the right to be rich, but I want to pause because I've got my ladies sending in what they're grateful for. Oh, Kalua, I'm grateful for the fall schedule shift that gives me extra one-to-one time with my son. Oh my gosh, isn't that like the best? I mean, there's at the end of the day, the one-to-one time, like for those of us who are mamas or dads, that is, oh, that's what it's about. So that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So it was fun yesterday to talk about the right to be rich because I had a number of you afterwards message me with what your definition is of richness. And I just want to reiterate, like, it's different for everybody. This is different for everybody. But this is really this whole series where we're coming together and talking about the principles of Think and Grow Rich and how to apply them to your life. It's about you developing your own version of richness and abundance in your life. And it's not one set dollar amount either, right? Like the amount, yes, finances are a huge piece of it. And that's a lot of what we talk about here at She Sells. But it's what's the dollar amount that you require to have the freedom that you want in your life. And then it's also what are the, like, what's your experience of every day? Are you creating, $100,000, $1 million experiences for yourself every day? That's part of living a rich life as well. Sherry, you're saying I've got sick. Well, you got to message me and tell me like how it happens. I know we were talking about that on our 10K club call. I'm so excited. And it's a lot of this too is like, you just decide you're not available for the struggle anymore. You're not available for the suffering anymore. Patty, good morning. I was thinking about you this morning and just celebrating you and your big month last month too. So, all right, so let's get into it. So today, what we're talking about is that you have to be ready for what you want. And really, I actually want to talk about more like how can you be ready for what you want. So just one little line that we're going to pull from the book today. And again, if you're joining and you want to read along, we're not reading Think and Grow Rich, but we're pulling some quotes. We're pulling some gems out of this for this series. But he says, Napoleon Hill in this book says, as you read this book, the secret to which I refer will jump from the page and stand boldly before you if you are ready for it. If you are ready for it. And that is the most important thing that we're going to be talking about today is you got to be ready for what you want. And for so many years in my life, I wanted things like better health, but then I would go and like binge eat ice cream at the end of the night, watching Real Housewives, like just keeping it super super real with you. And and then I'd like beat up on my body and my mind, right? And whatever your version of that is, my guess is that there's something in your life that you want, but right now who you are being is not yet a match for it. And it's not judgment at all. It's more, I would encourage you with all of this to have an energy of excitement and eagerness of like, oh, how am I being called to step up? And how am I being called to show up differently in order to just be the person who naturally has this? And even when it comes to, wealth and abundance, and I studied, like, I would hear people talk about, manifesting what they wanted and quantum leaps for so many years. And I was the one who was in the audience, like, how, like, what are they doing that's different? Can any of you relate to this? Like, give me a yes or give me a heart if you can relate to this. And maybe you're in this place right now. And if you are, there's nothing wrong with it. I was there for so long, but I would watch these people like get on stages and talk about, I had this financial quantum leap, or I like had this explosive growth in my business, or I, healed some major health condition. I'd be like, I want that. Like, I want that, but it wasn't happening for me in my life. And so I would feel frustrated. I would feel stuck. Can you all relate to this? Patty saying yes. Holly, good morning, by the way. And it can be a frustrating place to be, right? So I totally, totally get it. And in any area of your life where you're not yet creating the results that you want, we want to think about how can you, like, how ready have you allowed yourself to be for that thing? Because it's none of this, I want to say right now, none of this is about procrastinating. Okay. So I work with quite a few extremely talented, powerful women who the default is they hold themselves back from going for what they want because they're like, oh, I'll be ready when I have another certification, another qualification, when my website is totally ready, right? And so this is not what we're talking about at all, at all, at all, because usually that's just procrastination out of fear. Okay. Um, but what we're talking about here is more like your being, your way of being. So energetically, vibrationally, how can you be ready for what you want to be able to come into you? And so here's what I would say. And as always, I love chatting with you on these. So pop your comments in if you've got comments or questions on this. If there's something in particular that's felt like maybe it's like you've wanted it for a while, but it hasn't happened yet. Because I've learned in my own life, I've had some beautiful lessons about how to be ready for what I want. And I've seen how quickly it comes in when you show up that way. And it's so exciting and it's so fun and it doesn't have to take long. And I'm really, really passionate about helping you have that same type of experience in your life. If there's anything that has felt like stuck or stagnation or frustration for a while. Okay. So I want to really help you get unstuck this morning. So here's what I would say in terms of how do you get ready to receive what you want? I want you to take a real inventory of yourself and look at, so look at the goal. So think about what's your goal right now that you're looking to create. Maybe there's a program that you're launching and there's like a certain number of people you want in that program. Maybe there's a financial target that you're looking to hit. And I want you to take an inventory of, for the person who has that, who are they? Who are they? How are they being and how are they showing up every single day? And this in my own life, like I'm always, kind of an open book with this stuff. One of the things that I'm creating right now in my own life is like really, realizing that what we're doing here at She Sells is big and is growing and has potential to be a massive worldwide company, and it is going to be that. And so I've had to learn to look at myself as CEO, and that did not come naturally at all. Like any of you who can relate to this, right, who are running your own businesses, I was like, I'm just gonna be a little solopreneur and do my own thing here. But it's like, no, there's something much bigger here. It's so much more about the community and the women who are stepping up and claiming what they want. And there's so many women who need this that it's like, okay, I get to start to look at myself as CEO. How does she think? What does she do? What decisions does she make? And that's part of the process of being ready for what you want. So whatever that thing is for you, whether you want to grow and scale an 8-figure company, whether you want to hit your first 6 figures, whether you want to launch a new program, maybe you want to become a mom, right? Like whatever it is, how ready have you allowed yourself to be for that? And how are you showing up or not showing up as the person who has that? Right. And again, I'll give, personal examples here. Like for me, part of it has been learning to have conversations that feel tough with people, learning to, hold people more accountable, all of that, because solopreneur Elise, like that's not her natural mode. That's not what she did. So I've had to really, shift how I see myself and kind of filter it through that lens. So start thinking about that for you. How does that look for you? Brittany, good morning. Jan, good morning. So good to see you. My friend Lee Lambert. Oh, Lee, I owe you a DM, by the way. That's coming. Good morning. Is it possible to have this approach as a natural process for me? I would say absolutely. I think it's just a habit. It's just a habit like anything else, where you just start shifting. You're creating new neural pathways, right, in terms of how you think. And so the more you think about it this way and start to think about, for whatever the goal is that you're creating, how can you be ready for that? How can you show up as that person? It becomes your new norm. So then with any new goal that you're creating in your life, your mind will automatically go to, okay, who do I need to be for this to show up? And it's also like, are you willing to do what it takes? Again, not from that pushing forced action, because that's not how you're going to create powerfully here. And that's the opposite of the quantum leap. But are you willing to do what it takes and have your habits match those of someone who has what you want? Like I had to have a couple difficult conversations this week, and it was like, that did not feel great. I didn't want to have them, like being totally honest. I didn't want to have them, but I had to say, the woman who runs a company at this level, she does it. And so I did it, and they were great and awesome and harmonizing and all of that. But you have to be willing to do what it takes and to stretch outside of your comfort zone. And that's how you can kind of know, like, if you're really ready, because when you're ready for it, it comes. So I want to just encourage you with all of this, like when you're ready, when the person you're being is a match for that goal that you're creating, it comes, and it comes really fast, because it's actually been here all along for you. And what happens is we block it by having limiting beliefs about it's not possible for me, or by having behaviors that don't match and allow it to come in, right? Like I talked about at the beginning, for years, I wanted better health, but I was so stressed out and so anxious all the time about stuff that I'd come home at night and plop on the couch and eat ice cream and watch Real Housewives. And I don't care how much you want better health. When you're doing that every single night, you're not gonna get to the level that you wanted, right? Or with your business and with your sales that you're looking to create. Like, you can say all day long, I want this goal, I want these finances to come in. But if you've got a vision, a download, something that you're feeling inspired to create, and you're procrastinating on it and you're not doing it, I say this with a lot of love, but you're not ready for it. Like, you're not showing up as someone who's ready for it, right? So this is where we get to take a lot of personal accountability, but it's super empowering to do this, right? Like, it's super empowering. Gail, I've been thinking about you so much this week. I don't know why, but you've been on my mind. It's good to see you. We should connect sometime soon. Scott Groves is in the house, or Scott Groves' squad is in the house. I don't know, but I know it's early where you are, my friend. So it's good to see you. Let's see here. Leah's saying it seems so common sense based. I've always said that if you get too comfortable, you aren't stretching. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And it is common sense, right? Like, a lot of this it's just common, like it's just logical. but again, we can kind of get in our own way with a lot of this stuff. So here's another, and this is where I think more than anything else, we can get in our own way. Part of that readiness is you have to believe that you can have it. You have to believe that you can have it. And this is where the mental work is so important, of doing your affirmations. Like, see, like I've y'all, you can laugh at me, but like when I see myself in the mirror now, I'm like, all right, CEO Elise, like, how are you going to show up today? How are you going to do it? And that, like, I know it sounds silly and hokey, but it works. Like, you have to start to see yourself as that person who has what you want. The belief, because you will always, 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 always get what you expect for yourself and what you believe to be true and possible for yourself. So this is a key piece of the readiness, right? And if any of you have questions on that mental work, pop them in the comments, because I did affirmations for years and nothing happened. And I was like, what in the, like, this stuff is BS. So, and then I learned how to do it differently and it really happened fast. So it does work, but it's all about how you approach it. So you've got to recondition your subconscious mind to believe that you can have what you want. That's why we want to learn about reprogramming your mind and limiting beliefs and recognizing when they're showing up and how to shift them. But once you see yourself as that person, like here's part of the fun part of this process is when you're doing the mental work and you're doing the affirmations and you're doing the visualizing and you're seeing yourself at every single day as the person who already has that. It almost feels weird to you when you look at your life and it hasn't happened yet, because you're like, well, that is my reality, right? Has anybody had this experience where you know so strongly and so firmly that something is meant for you, and then when it hasn't happened yet, it's like, well, gosh, why is it? But it happens fast. Then it happens fast because your physical world it's like the final stage of manifestation in your life. So it starts with the thought and the emotion, and the physical is the final step of all of it. So you have to be it first. So you have to believe that you can have it first. And that's a key piece, key piece of the readiness. Okay. So do we have questions on any of this? This is really what I had for you today, is that you got to be ready for what you want. And here's, there's multiple parts of this, but what we talked about today is some of the most important. So it's a decision. It's seeing yourself as the person who, I'm like, up on my tiptoes on Instagram. Sorry, the camera frame is so weird. You have to see yourself as the person who has what you want. And then are your habits and behaviors matching those of someone who has that result? That is such an important piece of it. So are we good? Are we clear on this? Do we have questions? I'm going to assume that we're like, yep, we're ready. And here we go. All right, my friends. So that's what I got for you today. Tomorrow I think we're talking about thoughts and how to really align your thoughts, like the power we all have very little idea of how powerful our thoughts are and how much they create your reality. They are everything. They are everything. They are everything. So if you're having thoughts that aren't serving you to help you create the reality you want, I want you to join in tomorrow, because we're going to be talking about how to get them aligned with what you want in your life. Okay. So as always, DM me if I can be of service. I'm opening up speaking opportunities for next year. So if you have a sales team who you think needs a boost in terms of a kind of a different approach to sales, one that works and works really fast, send me a DM. I'd love to talk with you about coming in and speaking for your team and doing some training. And of course, I'm always available to help one-on-one with coaching as well. So shoot me a DM. Let me know how I can be of service. I'm wishing all of you a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And I will see everyone tomorrow bright and early for our live. You're so welcome. Have a great day. Take care.